The story begins with a luxurious ship where people were happily heading towards their destination, unaware of the storm about to change their lives. On that ship, a little girl, Amy, stood sadly as if sensing something wrong. Then her dad, Gong, arrives and gives her a small radio as a surprise gift to cheer her up. Holding it, a faint smile appears on that innocent face. But that happiness was short-lived. Suddenly, everyone looks into the water in shock, where thousands of fish were jumping above the surface as if fleeing from a terrible death. And that fear was real, because deep in the water, a colossal monster was speeding towards them. The red danger signal blares on the ship. The sound of beep beep makes the captain sweat. Before people could react, a massive explosion occurs. That sea monster blows the ship to smithereens. The ship capsizes, and amidst the screaming, everyone starts drowning in deep water. After this horrific accident, the scene changes. We see Gong lying unconscious on the sea beach as if returned from the jaws of death. A man shakes him awake. Opening his eyes, Gong looks around frantically. Bodies and unconscious people lay scattered, but the face he sought, his daughter, Amy, was not there. A father's heart sinks, and he starts screaming like a madman. Then a miracle of nature happens. Amy's frightened voice comes from his radio, but the next moment, silence falls. Gong realizes he isn't alone. Survivors are on the other side, too. People standing afar were signaling him, but Gong's world stopped right there when he saw his daughter. He runs towards her without thinking. But then his friend grabs his hand and yells, "Stop! Something is moving there!" Everyone's breath halts, eyes widen in shock, because standing before them was the other name for death, a mountain-sized monster snake. That scene was nothing less than a nightmare. That monster was tossing people in the air like toys with its tail and swallowing many alive. Gong rushes to save his child, but death's speed was faster. His friend pulls him back, and right before Gong's eyes, yes, right before his eyes, that beast swallows his little daughter whole. After filling its belly, that demon snake vanishes into the jungle's darkness. Gong sits on his knees there, crying out loud, a father screaming at his helplessness. But the story wasn't over yet, friends. Suddenly, static crackles on that radio again. "Papa?" Hearing this, new life rushes into Gong. His daughter is alive. Without wasting a moment, he heads towards that hellish jungle. The cowardly people stop him. "Don't be crazy, there's death." But for a father, nothing is greater than his daughter. Seeing his courage, another man steps forward, then a second, and soon a group of 6 brave souls gets ready to walk into the jaws of death, that jungle. Friends, a like is deserved for this father's courage. People behind kept yelling, "Come back, you'll die." But fate had other plans. A man called the rescue team in hope, but alas, no signal. No help was coming to this island of death. Suddenly, the jungle's silence breaks with a scream. Everyone trembles with fear because a companion from their group had vanished into thin air. Before they could understand anything, a strange sticky thing emerges from the dark and drags a man into the dense bushes. Panic erupts. Everyone runs for their lives. But one man, poor guy, stood there frozen, and the next moment, that monster's long tongue wraps around him and drags him away alive. The scene shifts to that monster snake's cave, its nest. That beast returns and spits out those it ate, thinking them dead, perhaps storing them to eat later. Here, amidst the pile of bodies, the ship's captain wakes up. He looks around in panic, but sadly, there was no way out. They were trapped in a well of death. The captain gathers courage and wakes the survivors, and then he sees Gong's daughter, Amy. Thankfully, the child was safe. But friends, one trouble hadn't ended when another stood before them. All around them lay large, slimy eggs of that monster snake, which were moving. The captain was about to touch an egg unknowingly when Amy screams, "No, don't touch it!"
Fear was in her eyes. She knew these eggs could burst any time, and death could emerge. Everyone stood holding their breath because the eggs' time was up. Will they survive? Then a foolish old man uses his brain. He thought breaking eggs early would kill the snakes. He lifted a heavy rock and, crack, the egg broke. But what's this? Instead of dying, a hissing baby snake slithered out. Seeing this, everyone got goosebumps. They had invited their own death. To save their lives, everyone hides behind a massive rock. That baby snake, no less than a python in size, moves towards them hungrily. Then it sees a woman lying paralyzed on the ground. The poor soul reached out for help, screaming, but no one could do anything. That snake ruthlessly chews her up right there. On the other side, Gong and his team were still stuck in the jungle maze. No monster found, no people. Exhausted, they stopped to rest. Yerdeni strikes a strange-looking tree with an axe to clear the path. Chop, and thick black liquid starts flowing like blood from the tree's wound. This was no ordinary tree. Inviting trouble, a companion lights a match there. As it burns, the match falls on the liquid, and boom! That part of the jungle is engulfed in flames. Yerdeni acts fast and extinguishes the fire. The fire calmed down, but the poisonous smoke released from it starts dissolving in Gong's breath. His head spins, darkness clouds his eyes. Everything looks strange to Gong. His own friends were laughing diabolically at him. Suddenly, that same huge monster snake emerges from the dark. His daughter Amy stood in front, asking while crying, "Baba, why didn't you save me?" Gong's heart breaks. Before he could do anything, that snake grabs him in its jaws, and splash! Yerdeni throws water on his face, and Gong wakes up. That was a nightmare, but reality was even more terrifying. That black liquid was actually a hallucination gas. And now the trees had come alive. Tree branches, like living hands, were grabbing and binding people. Screams erupted everywhere. These were man-eating trees hunting them. Gong screams, "Run from here!" He picks up his companions, but a painful scream is heard from behind. One of their friends was caught in the grip of those wild trees. The branches squeeze him to death right there. Terrified, everyone's soul shakes, and they run for their lives. Back in the cave, humans don't stop fighting in death's shadow. That greedy old man grabs the captain's collar. "This is your fault. If you had beached the ship, we wouldn't be monster food today." Then Sushi, that sensible girl, intervenes. She scolds them. "Stop it. If we fight here, that monster will surely eat us raw. We need to find a way out, not fight." On the other side, in the jungle, Gong was restlessly saying, "Hello, hello," but getting a signal in this cursed jungle was impossible. The story takes a new turn. A companion goes to the river to quench thirst. In the silence of filling water, he hears a rustle. Watching closely, a thick white mist starts blanketing the jungle. The atmosphere becomes scary. And then, splash! A ferocious piranha-like monster fish jumps from the water and attacks him. Like the video if you got scared too. That fish lunges again, its teeth no less than a saw. The man throws it away in panic, but when he looks up, his blood freezes. Inside the mist, thousands of monster fishes were coming flying in the air. Yes, flying death. He runs from there, screaming, "Run! Everyone run!" The whole group runs for their lives, because the swarm of fishes were behind them. Yerdeni's mind works. He noticed these fish only come with the mist. "Get out of the mist!" he yells. As soon as they reach the clear area, those flying fishes fall to the ground and thrash about. Their lives are saved by a hair's breadth.
They hadn't even caught their breath when Yerdeni glances at the ground. There were footprints of a Godzilla-like beast. Scared, they look up. Stuck on the tree above was a strange thing. A man was about to throw a stone at it when the old man stops him. "Are you crazy?" But it was too late. Swoosh! A long, sticky tongue comes with lightning speed and drags the man away. Everyone's eyes were up when, thud, a gigantic creature jumps from the sky to the ground. This wasn't an ordinary frog, but a monster frog, eating humans like flies. Seeing the size of this beast blows everyone's mind. Fighting it meant suicide. "Run!" everyone screams. But that frog grabs a man with its tongue. The man was about to go into death's mouth when he wraps around a tree trunk. His grip was slipping. He was close to death. Seeing this, the other companions jump in to save him without caring for their lives and start pulling him. A tug of war was on when a friend stabs the frog's tongue with a knife in anger. Splatch! Acidic liquid from the tongue falls on his face and he writhes in pain. Then our hero Erdini runs in like an action movie and throws a spear with full force right into the frog's eye. The frog screams in pain and drops the prey. But the real twist in the story comes now. That injured frog was about to attack them when, gulp, that monster snake arrives there and swallows that massive frog in one go. The real king of the jungle had arrived. Everyone's mind went numb. That snake ate that frog like it was a snack. Now that hungry monster's eyes fall on our survivors. Blood had rushed to its eyes. It chases them. Those two injured companions, attacked by the frog, were running slowly in pain. Suddenly they fall. The snake's huge mouth opens. Death was over their heads, but luck was with them. The snake gets stuck between dense trees. Seeing the chance, one companion risks his life and throws a coconut at the snake's head to distract it. "Hey, come here!" The snake turns towards him, hissing in rage. That boy runs with lightning speed and hides behind a tree. His trick worked. The snake got fooled. On the other side, the four companions were hiding, holding their breath. But that snake was a hunter. It found them. One companion, out of fear, folded his hands before the snake and begged, "Don't eat me, please." But wild animals show no mercy, friends. Before he could understand anything, the snake finished him off in one jerk. Seeing their friend's death, the others lost their courage. They run without thinking and jump into a small stream. Inside the water, they stay hidden, holding their breath. The snake comes there, flicks his tongue, but finding no scent in the water, it leaves. Today, death brushed past them. The story returns to that terrifying nest. The ground suddenly starts shaking like an earthquake. Everyone understands he has returned. They lie down pretending to be dead. That monster snake arrives and spits out the two people it had swallowed. Then the snake's eyes fall on its dead baby. A silence falls, and then it roars in anger. Its revenge was going to be horrific. But there was more horror left in the story. Seeing its dead baby, that monster snake goes mad with rage. Its roar shakes the cave, and it runs back after those same people for revenge. Everyone tries to run to save their lives, but then, crack, crack, the remaining eggs start breaking. A new form of death was about to emerge. And in no time, a hissing baby snake slithers out of the egg. Seeing this, everyone gets goosebumps and runs away. But Gong's daughter, Amy, gets stuck. She was right next to that poisonous snake. But what's this? Instead of being scared, Amy puts her hand on its head. And surprisingly, that bloody beast says nothing to her. Actually, Amy read in a book on the ship that a snake considers the first thing it sees at birth as its mother. That baby snake was thinking Amy is its mother, so it was calm. But then, a man moves by mistake, and the snake pounces on him with lightning speed. In a single moment, it grabs him in its jaws and kills him right there. Seeing this, that greedy old man somehow saves his life and slips away, leaving the rest of the companions in the jaws of death. On the other side, in the jungle, Gong and his team wander into a desolate place. There they see an old ruined house hidden among trees. Opening the door, their minds are blown. Inside lay dust-covered chemical bottles and strange equipment. This was no ordinary house, but the experimental lab where it all started. Seeing the pictures hanging on the walls freezes their blood.
Those pictures showed the same animals on which terrible experiments were conducted here, due to which they have become huge monsters today. Then they find an old radio in the trash. A ray of hope awakens. They immediately try to contact the rescue team, but that junk radio goes krr, krr, and dies. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps on dry leaves comes from outside. Everyone holds their breath and hides. The door opens, and it was the same old man who fled the snake's nest. Gong shakes him and asks, "Where is my daughter? Tell me." But that liar says, "It's all over, Gong. Everyone is killed. That monster ate them all."
Hearing this, the ground slips from under Gong's feet. He falls to the ground, his heart broken. He starts going into the jungle, screaming, but his friend Erdeni grabs him. "Come to your senses, Gong. There is only death there." Night passes. Next morning, Gong sat sadly when, whir, 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 the sound of a helicopter echoes in the sky. They come out screaming, waving hands, but due to the dense jungle, the pilot doesn't see them and leaves. Friends alike is deserved for their bad luck. Hope was dying when suddenly crackle comes from Gong's radio and Amy's voice is heard. Tears fill Gong's eyes. He screams, "She's alive! Everyone is alive!" That old man screams in fear of getting caught. "You have gone mad! They are dead!" But then Amy's voice comes again. Now the truth was out in the open. Gong looks at that old man in anger, and that coward runs away from there. Over there, the other man spreads his arms happily, seeing the helicopter return. But friends, the helicopter's sound had summoned that devil too. Suddenly, that monster snake emerges from the trees and in one swoop wraps that man in the air and swallows him. The game of death wasn't over yet. Gong asks Amy on the radio, "Child, listen carefully. Where are you?" Sushi explains nervously, "We're in a big dark cave." Gong asks, "Any sound? Must be something there." Sushi says, "Water. Yes, the sound of falling water is coming." Gong understands, that waterfall cave. Gong and his companions reach that cave at breakneck speed. Seeing the view inside stops their breath. Thousands of venomous snakes surrounded those kids, hissing. Death was just an inch away when a miracle happens. That baby snake, who thought Amy was its mother, starts fighting the other snakes. It was saving them. Gong yells from above, "Amy!" The daughter cries, hearing her father's voice. Gong throws a strong tree root down without delay. "Grab this!" He starts pulling them up with all his might. Every moment was heavy. Then, boom! That giant monster snake arrives there. Seeing its children fighting, it goes berserk. It was about to attack Gong when Erdeni comes in between. He jumps in the air and drives his axe straight into the monster's eye. Splash! The monster goes mad with pain. Now it goes after Erdeni. Death was hovering over Erdeni's head, but then the other partner comes and blinds its second eye with a spear. Now that devil had gone blind. Here, Gong was pulling the kids up. They were just about to reach when the blind monster lunges at them. The ship's captain, like a true hero, pushes them up, and himself stands before that devil. The monster chews him raw right there. The captain's sacrifice didn't go in vain. Gong and Amy's lives were saved. Do write respect in comments for this captain. But that monster was still hungry. Despite being blind, it was chasing them by scent. Everyone runs from there. On the other side, that greedy old man was about to exit the jungle when fate dropped him back into the same cave. And this time, no one came to save him. Thousands of snakes surrounded him and finished his game. As you sow, so shall you reap. Coming out of the jungle, Erdeni yells, "Run separately or everyone will die." Gong runs one way with Amy, but Erdeni and his partner decide to end this story right here. They stop to distract that monster. Erdeni attacks the monster's belly while running, but its skin was as hard as iron. That monster was about to swallow Erdeni when his friend pulls him away. Both run to save their lives to that part of the jungle where that poisonous black liquid was spilled. They wanted to trap the monster. But the monster was smart. It smells that liquid and stops there. The trap failed. It turns back and moves towards Gong.
Gong tells his daughter, "Run from here," and picks up an axe himself to stop that devil. From behind, Erdeni yells, "Gong, look behind!" Gong turns, but it was too late. That giant monster snake opens its huge mouth and in a single jerk swallows Gong. Yes, swallows Gong alive. Amy's scream echoes in the jungle. Is everything over? No, Gong wasn't dead yet. Inside that devil's belly, Gong swings his axe. He starts tearing it from the inside. The monster falls to the ground, writhing in pain. Then Erdeni comes holding a fire torch and draws the monster's attention. "Come here, devil." Erdeni runs and reaches that poisonous liquid. As soon as the monster comes there, Erdeni throws the burning torch on that liquid. Boom! A terrible explosion occurs, and that monster snake turns into a ball of fire. Engulfed in flames, that devil burns to ashes in agony. But alas, in this explosion, Erdeni loses his life too. Amid the smoke, the remaining survivors tear open the monster's belly and pull Gong and Amy out. Amy was conscious, breath stopped. Gong shakes her, cries, "Wake up, child!" For a moment, it felt all was lost. But then, Amy coughs and opens her eyes. Life returns to a father's body. Finally, this terrifying journey ended. Friends, if this father-daughter story touched your heart, then definitely like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to Filmy Nest for such thrilling stories. See you in the next video.